Hi everyone, this is Ganesh Dhanokar. Today we are going to learn with respect to the identity and access management. Now we'll try to understand what is identity and access management in this session as well as in the next session. So as the name itself says, that is identity, that is we need to produce our identity, and access management, it means are we allowed to access the functionality or not. Both the things will taken care into account with the help of identity and access management. Now what exactly this is all about? This identity and access management is a feature. It is a feature, and this feature, what exactly it aids in authentication. It means it deals with respect to the authentication, authorization, and auditing the resources that is being used under a cloud services. It means here the user which is gone to use the cloud service, we need to check, is it the authorized candidate to access the resources? Is it authenticated? It means have we provide the privileges to access it to the user, and you should be able to perform the auditing of the same. It means the log should be get maintained so that after later on we should be able to catch by whom this service was get availed, how it was get availed, when it was get availed, all those stuffs. So that's why it comes under this AAA: authentication, authorization, and auditing. Now we'll try to understand these trust boundaries and IAM. Now what exactly mean by trust boundaries? Trust boundaries are nothing but the security aspect which we need to provide so that identity and access management will be done. Now in typical organization where applications are deployed within the organization's perimeters, it means now we are taking the example which was few decades ago, that is the application was get deployed within the organization's perimeter. So the trust boundaries was, as we are well aware, that it was within the organization perimeter. Will outside will be able to access it? Definitely not. The personalities who are within that organization will be able to access it. So that's why it was mostly a static and is monitored and controlled by the IT department. So there was an IT department at that time who used to monitor and control it. This was a traditional model. So the trust boundary, it was with respect to the network, system, and application which has been hosted in the private data center and managed by the IT department. It means that was within a private, so the data center was also a private, and as everything was on a private, that's why the thing will, or you may say, was available only to the users which comes under the organization perimeters. It was not available to the outside candidates. So sometimes it was not the case ki always for each and every organization there was an IT department. Sometimes it was being provided to the third parties providers as well. Now we'll try to understand how this was done during few decades, and the access to the network system and application is secured via network security control. So there were network security controls which were having, that is virtual private networks. It means there were their own private networks. Then intrusion detection system, it means someone who is trying to access from the outside, to detect it there was an intrusion detection system, as well as there was an intrusion prevention system, so that it should not be get accessible, it should get prevented. And multi-factor authentication, so there were multi-factor authentication. Now what has happened nowadays, the application is being hosted on the cloud service. So that's why what has happened, this system was dynamic, this system is dynamic. The previous system was static one, but this system is dynamic. The organization's trust boundary will become dynamic. It means it will not remain within the organization. As we are going to have cloud service, we will having our application somewhere else, and we will try to access at our organization. So definitely what will happen, the trust boundary will become now a dynamic and will move beyond the control of IT. It means the thing which was done by the administrator, that is IT administrator, it now only that much will not be sufficient when we are hosting our application on cloud. So with the cloud computing, the network system and application boundary of an organization will extend. What will happen? It will extend into the service provider domain. It means what we are going to do, we are going to have our application on the cloud, which will be provided by the cloud service provider. So the trust boundary will increase at this place. The trust boundary was only stipulated, was only within organization in traditional. Now as the cloud has come into existence, it has extended, and there will be a key role of cloud service provider in this case for identity and access management. Now this loss of control, because what has happened, the IT administrator was having full control previously. Now they have lost this control when the application will be get hosted on your cloud services. So what has happened here, they have lost the control, continues to challenge the establishment trusted governance and control model. So here they need to modify their monitoring and controlling, so that again the thing should not go in a wrong way. And if it is not managed properly, what will happen, will impede cloud service adoption within an organization. It means though we are availing the cloud services, will be in a loss. So what to do to compensate for the loss of the network control, the loss which we are having, that is network control loss, to strengthen the risk assurance. It means we need to make assure that the data will not get lost. Organizations will need to focus to rely on the higher level software controls. What we need to do here, we need to have higher level server controls. The few examples has been stated here, that is application security as well as user access control. So we need to focus on the security of your application which has been hosted on the cloud, and we need to also perform access control management so that none other than the specified user to whom we have provided the privilege will not access to your application. So this need to be done. This will be the overhead to the IT administrators when the application will be hosted on clouds. Now these controls manifest as a strong authentication. What exactly this control will all about? It will provide authentication, authorization based on the roles or the claims. It means every user will having their own role, and as per the role the privileges will be given to that specific application. It means if there are a number of features, and if there is an user, will this user will be having this n number of features? Definitely not, because the features will depend on his or her role. So this trusted source with accurate attribute, identity federation, single sign on. We need to have a single sign on so that we can come to know who has signed, and we have already given the privileges for the specific candidate, so that user activity monitoring and auditing can be done. For what purpose we need to have it? So that later on we can do auditing, as well as if you would like to monitor it, we should be able to monitor it, so that the losses will not be there through the unauthorized access. So this was the all about how the trusted boundaries has been increased as the cloud came into existence, and how the definitions of your identity and access management has changed. This was all about your trusted boundaries, and I hope you got the concept. Thank you very much for watching this video.